So well, my friends, we are still on this court today. It goes streetball back then, I mean the early 90s and late 90s against nowadays, the differences, and there are big differences in my opinion. But first of all, I will tell you, I am not a sayer, wow, back then it was that much better, this is the holy grail. And I'm not saying today is the holy grail, because normally people are so, when they played, when they were young and grown up, they say this was the best time. The people from the 70s, from the 80s, from the 90s, from the 2000s, and from nowadays, you know. And I think everyone has the right to say that, because that was your feeling, and we make nothing bad. I only want to tell the difference a little bit with an ironic eye, as always by me, you know, I can laugh about things. But so the early 90s, first of all, here in my area, I can tell you, there only existed one thing when we were grown up. I'm a streetballer since 1991, and to us kids there only existed two things: real streetball and the NBA, and all other stuff didn't exist, you know. You have to know, when you are younger, back then there was no internet. That means no Netflix, no Amazon, no YouTube, no Facebook, no Instagram, no TikTok, no MySpace, nothing. There was nothing. So you had no information what is going on around the world. The only thing was in the television, and there was no Amazon, Netflix, and that thing, you know. You had the, nowadays people only does not know this, the normal television channels, you know. We only had that, and there was no basketball back then. Later on in my area, that was in the middle, later 90s, there was Frank Buschmann from Germany, and he called, I think it was on DSF, Deutsches Sportfernsehen, he called there a basketball magazine. I don't know, it was half an hour, 45 minutes, around that. And that was, I think, once a week, and there you could watch, and they said something about the NBA. The only thing where you got information about it. And there were sometimes VHS cassettes, you know, this is like a DVD, Blu-ray, UHD, you know. VHS cassettes, sometimes in my area you got one. They had sold something in the electronic shops. For example, I have the 1994 Houston Rockets Championship, the VHS cassette. And that was, wow, you had one cassette, the big thing. I had also the VHS. I had done it by my own to record it, the Dream Team 1992 with Jordan, Pippen, and on and on and on in Barcelona, when they threw out everyone, you know. And that was our time, NBA, and nothing else existed. And also that means Spalding was the gold standard to us. There was nothing else. We are not interested in the Wilson ball or what was other. We knew, because there were basketball magazines, Basketball USA, Basket from Germany, and that we collected, and there we had posters in, and you got information also a bit about the German balling, you know. Sometimes on Eurosport in the later 90s you have seen there a few things, on DSF I think also, but there they had those molten balls, and we have seen the pictures, and that was, wow, absolutely uninteresting to us, you know, because we only had the NBA. NBA is the gold standard back then, USA is the best, and all other is nothing. And molten balls, you will not have such a ball, you know. So we had only Spalding gold standard, NBA, and that it was. And street ball was not like nowadays. I've told you last time the cages. So we come to nowadays, you know, because then you know what my street ball was. Nowadays, you know, young people search a court outdoor which is really perfect, made with a net, with a real court inside, rubber blades with lines, the best string, and important, those cage form that the ball cannot fall out. And when they see, I talk not for everyone, but to make it a little bit more ironic, I will tell it in extreme words, those younger people nowadays, yeah, or also the older people, I don't know, they search a very good court now, yeah, with cages and all that stuff. And when they have an asphalt court, no cage, nothing, then oh my god, that is a stupid basketball court, you know. And they play 3-3 tournaments now. They only know street ball is 3-3 tournaments, and that it is, you know. Doesn't matter what 3-3 tournaments, but this is streetball. And what is that? They build up a special court in a city, you know, a court which doesn't exist. They put on there a ring, and then there come the indoor players who train indoor in a club. Then they go outdoor and play there this tournament. And when the tournament is over, they put all away, the floor, the ring, and nothing is there anymore. And they go back and play indoor. And in winter also, they play indoor. There we are hooping indoor, and in summer when it's nice and warm we go outdoor. That is nowadays streetball in extreme words. But you know, I don't say it's bad or good, but you know, I will tell it ironically a little bit. And to me back then it was a complete other streetball. It was like in the US, the playground bowling, yeah? You had a court which you had. If this would be a cage court or an asphalt court or a ring behind the garage, it doesn't matter. We played there, we took this what we got, and we took this ball what we got, you know. Some players played with a football, with a beach volleyball, you know, because we had no basketball. And then when you got a basketball, it was wow. And we didn't measure it up, we didn't weigh it in, we knew this is a basketball. And it was good or not. And when it was not good, we still played because we got no other ball, you know. Because my mentality back then was, when you are not playing in a club, you know, I was 1995 in a club 5 days where we had a training session, you know. And there I had trainers, female trainers, which was very nice, was complete other thing, was nice. But when you were not in a club, you had at home, they said to you and to many others, then you don't need basketball shoes, you don't need that things. You go out, you have a ball, why a basketball, you know? And why is basketball shoes? When you are in a club, then you get someone. But when you don't play in a club, you don't need basketball shoes. And that it was, you know? And so we come also to the 90s now, because in the 90s, many people know the &1 era, you know, the white clothes, you know, the hot sauce and all those players, King Handles from the Nautic crew, and on and on and on. You know, the hip hop, the big scene and that. But that was middle to late 90s, more late 90s to early 2000s, and then streetball, the style of that grew completely up, you know. But in the early 90s, there it was also different. People had not that big clothes and the panties. They had normal, like nowadays, the normal short pants, a normal t-shirt, and that it was, you know. And not the hip hop and this and that. That came a little bit later, also NBA influence. But that it was, you know. And nowadays people, I tell you, they search such a court, yeah. And when it's order, it is bad. And we back then, we played where we could find a ring. And we had the streetball mentality because people didn't like us. Because when you were showing up with a ball, everyone did not like you. The police did not like you because you are dribbling. We dribbled on the streets. When we went home, we dribbled there. Yeah? On the side where you walk beside the street. And there no one liked it. You know, police, no, it's not allowed, don't do it, ball can fall out to the street. Then we played on the street, we dribbled there. What happened there? People with cars went to us, not allowed, when the ball hits the car, go away, blah blah blah. Always the confrontation. People who were living beside always say, this is too loud, it is too loud, don't throw the ball. Once people said to me, I should throw the ball and grab it in my hand, that I don't dribble it. So you were always hated. It was like a little bit similar to skateboarding. Yeah, and nowadays what do people? They come in with their basketball shoes. You know, ironical now, but I have to laugh when you know where I come from. And also I tell you other story. You had your home court, and that means an asphalt court, an own ring, whatever. And when there strange people were showing up, there were two options. They played with us, we made a match, all nice, or they got beat up and threw out of the court when they had no respect. And enters in and play at your ring and don't ask, you will immediately go out, you will never come to this court again. And nowadays, I tell you the story, people enter in, they have their basketball shoes in the package, then they put out the basketball shoes, street shoes out, basketball shoes on, that they don't get dirty, and then they start to play, you know. They have their own ball here. a lot of players, the molten balls, you know, what was absolutely no-go back then with a molten ball outdoor. I mean, strange, you know. And then they are playing. And I myself, you know, when you would have done this back then, I don't know, the people would have laughed at you, you know. When you come here with your basketball shoes and that they don't get dirty because outside you cannot wear them. I mean, you have to know my mentality. I walk with these shoes home and I come to this court. When I went up to the mountains court, the hidden court, I went up with the big shoes, you know, comfortable, nice. You know, that is because I was growing up there. The same with cleaning the ball, you know, or to weigh in a ball, unthinkable back then, yeah. And then what I also see, you play on your ring now and then other players come. The difference back then, I tell you, back then you entered in the court, hey, what's up, hey, greeting, hey, cool, what ball do you have? Hey, can you show me? Wow, nice, yeah, cool, let's play a game. Wow, you are good, wow, crazy tricks, nice. Nowadays, people entered in, for example, when someone is playing here, new player comes in, don't know the guy or the girl, dribble, throw the ball, the other also, and then he plays without asking. That is nowadays, you know. Then you're staying here and you think, yeah, do I see right? A guy comes in, but that is the normality nowadays. The normal thing, you play this ring and then comes someone in and plays the same ring without saying hello, without asking you. Hey, back then you had to ask. You had to ask, hey, do you play longer now? And then you have known it when you were standing outside, yes or no. But if you would enter in there and play the same time when someone is playing, I swear you would get kicked out of the place. But this is now the normality, you know. So really big difference, you know. I don't know in your area, but I see this, you know. I see this. And back then the street ball, you know, complete other thing. And we had always the NBA, I told you this. And, you know, I never liked Sean. But we knew when it comes to a game, USA against the other, we hoped Sean will do it. You know, he's the best in the world, he will do it. You know, then we are the hardcore fan. It has to be the NBA. There were not a lot of players from outside NBA back then. Tony Kukoc, Vladi Divac, you know, Detlef Schrempf and a few others. You know, we also like them. Especially Detlef Schrempf, Seattle Supersonics, you know, Gary Payton and Sean Kemp and that stuff. But that it was, you know, and nowadays the complete different story. And we were more likely on really street courts, not those cage courts, you know. And nowadays when they don't find a cage, they are not happy. This is complete different, you know. Really complete difference. And also, yeah, the moves and that style, that came a little bit later, you know. Of course, in Rakabak and that areas, but that we didn't have seen. We didn't have known Rakabak when we were kids. We had no internet, there was no information. You know, we only had our NBA and we played games like NBA Jam 1994, the 2 versus 2 street ball with the big dunks, there were tricks in, and that was our thing. You know. And we didn't care if you come in with a jean, yeah, that was normal. Nowadays they will watch, hey, what is this? No basketball thing, strange, you know, cannot play, has to be another player, you know. But you know what I mean. And nowadays they have those big headphones on and they walk in and do that. Back then, other thing, I show you that. Nowadays, when they don't have those big headphones on, headsets, they come in with a smartphone. I've seen also this smartphone, and what are they doing? They play music on the smartphone, they put it on the floor. Hey, I mean, what sound do you have from a smartphone? You know what was in the early 90s? We come in with the ghetto blaster, with a big thing, ghetto blaster, and put this on the floor. And then you had a great sound, a lot of bass. Nowadays with this handy smartphone sound. We have now technical things 2024 and they shown up with the speakers of a smartphone. You know, this really crazy, you know. But that it is, you know. Street ball back then and nowadays, but I have no problem with all those things from the decades. But I can tell you, I love my streetball from back then, and sometimes I can laugh when I see things when people enter in. I swear you, there's no one who comes in a friendly way and tells, wow, are you playing? Wow, can I test your ball? Wow, what do you have? No one. All alone. This and that is really, really strange, you know. Yeah, but I can laugh about that because I always think if those players would be back then, complete other thing, you know. And also nowadays, I hate this. This is something what I hate, when they play matches and they are like, wow, I play, we are better, we make it rough, and then, oh yeah, we have fun, we are great. Back then, when others have fun, hey, great, well, you have played really, really good. You had also pleasure, wow, they were so good. What great play was this, you know. We were together. Nowadays they are, yeah, now we are better, I'm better. And that I don't like, you know. They ask for sometimes me, yeah, one-on-one. I want to show you that I'm the better man than you. You know, I'm not interested in that, you know. So, streetball back then and nowadays. I cannot show you in other things. We have only talked about this, but I wanted to tell it in that way. So we will see us again. Till next time, bye and ciao.